to Chicago Reacts. My name is Lauren, and today I am going to be looking at a Terrastorian video. This one is the only Arknights lore video you will ever need, Newbie Edition, Part 1. So I recently watched an Arknights video that was very pretty to look at. I learned some and was confused by most. So, because of that, people have suggested that I take a peek at some of these lore videos. So I shall do that because I was interested enough. And I really want to know what's going on. No other explanations really necessary, but I want to know what's happening. So let's find out what Terrastorian has to say.
Welcome to Terrastorian, the channel we explain Arknights lore.
Cool.
I am Akka, and in this video,
okay.
I will provide a simple breakdown of the lore of Arknights for both beginner and casual players. The lore you'll discuss in this video will be split into several sections, such as terminology, the nations, the various races, and the threats that this world and its inhabitants face.
Awesome. Let's go.
A heads up, there are some spoilers ahead.
That's okay.
If you prefer to read and play the game without spoilers, then stop. If not, then let's get started.
Spoil me, baby!
Let's go over a few terms which are important to the basic understanding of the world of Arknights.
Siesta.
Originium is one of the most important words to keep in mind.
Originium.
This crystal is very important to the people of Terra, as it's a power source for technology and powers. However, it's a double-edged sword, as people can get infected with 𝙉𝙀𝙒𝙖𝙀𝙄𝙀, a deadly disease. We'll talk about this later.
Okay. It's a little bit splicer type, huh? Like where you can get some interesting powers, but also it will warp your mind and body.
𝙉𝙀𝙒𝙖𝙀𝙀. Think of 𝙉𝙀𝙒𝙖𝙀𝙀 as the magic or powers of the Arknights world, allowing users to cast and manipulate different powers. Some races and individuals may have unique 𝙉𝙀𝙒𝙖𝙀𝙀 unique to them. The word infected is a term or labeling someone with 𝙉𝙀𝙒𝙖𝙀𝙀. People who are infected with 𝙉𝙀𝙒𝙖 are treated poorly, often as second-class citizens or worse. Various nations and races treat the infected differently, however. 𝙉𝙀𝙒𝙖𝙀𝙀 is a deadly illness on Terra that comes from active originium via inhaling it, getting it into your blood, wounds and cuts. 𝙉𝙀𝙒𝙖𝙀𝙀 slowly crystallizes the individual over time until, they can no longer breathe or move.
See, like, people kind of explain that a little bit, but it's just like, just seeing it paired with the art is truly horrific. Oh my god.
Eventually, the individual will die, crumble away, and even combust or explode, spreading the originium dust crystals around the area of the person's death. If other people are in the area or affected by these, they will most likely become infected, unless they are wearing suitable safety wear. Catastrophes are powerful natural disasters, from earthquakes to storms to blizzards and even to meteor storms. Catastrophes are not only deadly disasters, but it also carries and spreads originium around the world, making more and more dangerous zones to live in, and more originium around the world. To avoid catastrophes, people have made a vast majority of mobile cities, which are able to move away. Catastrophe messages are people with skills to calculate and analyze when a catastrophe is coming, and give that information to cities so they're able to move away in time. Nomadic cities, or mobile cities, are cities.
That really is a cool idea, though. Nomadic cities to move around and, like, to try to escape these natural disasters. But, like, I mean, it only works for so long, I'd imagine, because the more natural disasters they are, the more the orthinium or whatever bounces around. Eventually, what happens when there's no safe places left? I mean, like, it just feels like, you know, it feels inevitable that eventually there's nothing left.
Cities or settlements that are built over giant vehicles, which allows them to move their position on land. They are built to move away from catastrophes. This also functions and allows for easier access with trade with other nations and cities. The world of Arknights is set on Terra, a planet with similar environments from dry and arid deserts to lush rainforests, wondrous plains, and to harsh frozen tundra. In
Like
so
our
many
Earth.
ways, this planet is like our Earth, yet so different. Terra
Well,
has
there's
a
magic.
supercontinent, and still some parts of Terra haven't even been completely explored.
Well, there's parts of Earth that haven't been completely explored, too. People are always finding new random parts of the jungle. There's like, we've discovered those like underground biomes with the trees and stuff in them but it's like, there's lots of places on Earth that we still haven't fully explored yet. Montana's mostly nothing. I kid. But there are, I just mean there's a lot of like places that are just wide open expanses, like even in very explored countries that just haven't, no one's really looked, or like it's something got looked over, missed. Things have disappeared. Just saying. There are places here that have not been explored too. Probably not to the extent of this alien planet, though.
Terra is also constantly changing under civilizations, natural disasters, and catastrophes.
That would do it.
Let's start with the nations, beginning with Bolivar. It is one of the western nations on Terra, located in the northern part.
Bolivar.
Despite its thriving economy and culture,
Mama
Bolivar
Johns.
is currently in political instability due to a stalemate between three major factions: the Sincas dynasty, the coalition government, and the true Bolivarians. It is also famous for the mobile city 𝙉𝙀𝙒, known for its neutrality, and the annual event known as the 𝙉𝙀𝙒 Warrior Championship.
Fun! How very Dragon Ball Z.
Colombia. Colombia is the youngest nation in Terra and a melting pot of different cultures and races. Originally,
So we're just in South America right now. We got Bolivia and Colombia.
a Victorian colony, it declared independence in 1019 and became a very powerful nation in terms of politics and
Good for them.
technological advancements. Siesta is a small independent city-state
they're
near
lazy.
the inland sea of Claricide. As
They
one
like
of
to nap.
Colombia's three city-states, the city is famous for its touristic patronage, beaches,
Sounds
and
right.
the annual Obsidian Festival.
See, again, that sounds correct. It's like, if you're going to name your town Siesta, you better have like people be relaxed in there. That's just, it's just logic.
Terra's most famous music festival.
Wonderful
𝙬𝙀
music festival.
is a nation underground. Not much is known.
I mean, it sounds like dwarves, so it makes sense. I was thinking about music festivals. I might go to Riot Fest this year. I haven't decided yet, but I think I might. It seems interesting. They've got like a lot of bands I'm curious about this year.
About this location, however, it's home to the 𝙬𝙀. To
Shocking!
the south of Bolivar, we arrive at Sargon. This
I don't
nation
have anything
is a
clever to say
mixture of
about
lush
that.
forests and jungles to hot, dry deserts. Sargon is led by two different leaders. One is the Lord Emir, and
The great chief of Akahuala, Lord Emir of Akahuala, post-Ideal City. Endless Carnival. Sounds exhausting.
Pasha or the Padishah, who is more acknowledged as the ruler. Important to note, the Pasha have some more power over the Lord Emir. Sargon does have a king in the central land. However, not much is known. Sargon also borders the Foan Hotlands to the south. Minos is one of the smaller nations, with a culture
Are they rich?
revolving on hero cult, mainly the 12 heroes of Himnoi.
Okay, so I mean, you're looking at it, it's kind of Grecian. Makes sense with Minos. So we got the labyrinth happening up in here. I love it when they do that, when they like name things in fantasy stories that have otherworld, like real world connotations, and then they actually follow through on those connotations. That's fun. That's fun for me.
Minos was at one point colonized by Sargon between the years 917 and 1042. While they broke free, they've often been harassed and raided by Sargon forces from time to time. Kajerag is a landlocked, secluded nation which is surrounded by a massive mountain range and protected by the goddess Fermat Kajergaranda. I hope I'm saying that right. Its neighboring nations are Colombia, Victoria, Kazimish. Compared to its bordering nations, Kajerag is still a developing country.
Okay.
Let's venture far north as we go to Sami, the furthest northern country on Terra.
Okay.
And probably one of the most
I wonder if it's
dangerous.
like the actual Sami people. If they took any, what's the word I'm looking for? Inspiration from the actual Sami people.
As there are freezing temperatures, blizzards, and something eldritch, hideous, lurking in those winds that come from beyond. The Collapsals.
Ugh.
Sami.
Oh, it looks like a Langolier.
Race, and lesser known ones that are collectively known as the Sami Fjord, that have a tribal-like culture. These tribes and clans often clash with the eldritch dangers. For these reasons, the Sami Fjord are often strict with outsiders to their land.
That makes sense.
Oh, Victor.
Because like you would have to be. Like if you've got these weird eldritch horror hanging out, it's like outsiders do what we say, because otherwise you'll die.
One of the most powerful nations, known for its
Victoria.
romanticism
How British.
and use of steam-powered machinery.
Makes sense.
Despite being ruled by a monarch,
Industrialization.
either from the Draco or the Aslan race, Victoria has been passing through a succession crisis for the last 2 decades. As both races fight each other for the power, the Dukes of Victoria, on the other hand, have been looking for a chance to seize the throne.
Of course they have.
Victoria is currently one of the nations involved with the main story.
Londinium.
The majority
Alright.
of Casimir territory
So
is
they're really going for the British thing, huh?
dubbed the Land of the Knights.
Casimir. Pause.
Is covered by grassland and home to the knightly Kuranta for generations. Despite its chivalrous and heroic origins, however, Casimir has become a nation plagued with greed and corruption, using the title of knights and their tournaments to make money and power. Iberia is a coastal nation by the Southern Sea, formerly a powerful
And sometimes they
land.
just take like with the Londinium, Iberia, some of it's like Minos. We're gonna be, it's potentially just an illusion, but sometimes we're just gonna take like full on countries and just call them that.
Byzantine Empire, they once had the most powerful navy fleets. However, this strong nation was brought down by a devastating and mysterious disaster known as the Profound Silence, potentially created by worshippers and threats from the deepest depths of the sea. Iberia since then has
Looks like the
struggled
Matrix
to
like
recover
computer
and
things.
remain distant from other nations. Following the Profound Silence, Iberia has established a religious order known as the Inquisition, which was previously known as the Church of Iberia. The church was reorganized by Saint Carmen to combat the threats from the sea.
Okay.
Laterano is a small
King.
nation and sacred homeland to the angelic trigger-happy race Sancta. Laterano is a nation where the Sancta found a safe homeland away from their sibling race, the Sarcas.
I will just say also the art, beautiful. Like I'm not sure where he's pulling the art from, because I think this is just like concept art and stuff. But it is absolutely stunning. Every single piece that we've seen so far has been, it's either been really unsettling because it was meant to be, or it's been absolutely gorgeous.
Despite their long-lasting feud and dark past,
I love the angel with
the
a gun.
Laterano of today is very
Angel with a
energetic,
shotgun,
open-minded,
fighting for-
and known for its dessert culture with the Pope as their leader. Laterano is famous for its religious beliefs, Laterism, and the Laterano Church that acts as the government, dealing
Latin,
with
Rome,
numerous
Pope,
state
makes
affairs.
sense.
Aside from the Sancta, it's also home to the Liberi population, due to their diplomatic relationship with Iberia in the past. Lefania's neighbouring countries are Victoria, Casimir, Eurus, Syracuse, and Laterano. This country is famous for classical
pretty.
music, use of originium arts, arts-based technology, and musical arts. Lefania was once ruled by the greatest caster in history, the Witch King, who was later
Vangmar?
overthrown by the twin empresses. It is home to the
Ooh,
Caprine
low-key
race,
Thor, it looks like.
which makes up majority of the
Look
twin
at that.
empresses.
Look at her, Lady Loki's little horn guys over here. I love it. I love it.
It is home to the Caprine race, which makes up majority of the population. A nation south of Yan and Kasdel, known for its mining operations and industry, is Remilitin. Remilitin has one of the 3 biggest originium veins running underneath it. Due to its constant mining operations, the residents of Remilitin are very vulnerable to oropathy,
Yeah, I bet.
and while they aren't highly discriminatory to the infected, Remilitin is known to see its people nothing more than labourers and workforce.
Okay.
Siracusa, the land of the mafia and the fangs and howls of the prominent race,
Okay.
Lupo and some Volpo. Siracusa has influence from other nations, such as the religious beliefs and legal systems from Laterano, technology from Colombia, the Funyun love for music, and the main cultural identity is the mafia tradition that comes from the ancient Siracusa
Okay.
and the 12
Yeah,
families
gotta have a mafia
that govern the
country.
nation. The families themselves are under supervision from Signora Cecilia, which makes her the real head of state. The ancient land of
her.
the Sarcas, Kazda.
I support women's
this
wrongs.
war-torn nation is home to the native Terran race, the Sarcas, which was built thousands of years ago by the first Sarcas Lord of Fiends. The sad state of Kazda is due to the nation being perpetual conflict, not only between the Sarcas and the other nations, but also the infighting among themselves. Kazda has been destroyed and rebuilt numerous of times in the past. The true Kazda today is where the Sarcas can finally have a place called home. Before there were any concept of countries, the Sarcas back then, known as the Tz'ak, considered Kazda their world. Ursus, the largest nation on Terra,
Bears.
and home to the namesake race, the Ursus, is ruled by an emperor.
Bears.
Ursus is often known to be hostile, xenophobic to other nations, and known to be horribly cruel to the infected. Well, that's a story for another day.
Okay, we'll get
Ursus
to
was
it.
once ruled by the Hippogriff Libri,
Yep,
but
Russia.
when they failed to protect the nation, the other dominant race, the Ursus, rose up, rebelled, and took over, and renaming the nation to Ursus. Ursus is one of the nations that are dealing with the collapsal threat in the far north. Higashi is near the northeast of Yan. Higashi was in a long civil war between the northern and southern courts. However, when Ursus tried to invade, the two sides joined forces and pushed back the invading force back into Ursus,
Cool.
where
Good for
it
them.
eventually led to volatile peace between and within Higashi's two sides. While north of Higashi is still isolated from outside nations, the south is far more welcoming. What we do know about Higashi
Okay.
is that it's famous for its founding mythology and love for video games and manga.
I was like, it looks very Japanese here. I mean, I saw this it looks like a kanji of some kind. So I know that there's a lot of different writing styles in Japanese. I cannot remember for the life of me what the other two are. It is kind of fun though, just to like see where things like where they've pulled their inspiration from, their real world inspiration. It's interesting. And I think it is fun that they're barely even, it's like they changed the name a little bit. And in some cases just used an old name. And I just find that fun. It's like, okay, yeah, you know what you're doing. But we're not even being subtle about it.
One of the eastern nation, Yan, is ruled by an emperor, which is said to be a true Lang. Yan's famous history is that of emperors wanting to overthrow and kill gods.
Woo!
The gods being Thermites.
Good.
Long ago,
The gods
an
being
emperor
what?
killed gods. The gods being Thermites. Long ago, an emperor started a war against these gods, believing that their refusal to help the people of Yan, even when misfortune struck, means that they are unworthy to call themselves gods, and
Fair.
started a great hunt after allying himself with another Thermite known as Sui. They were eventually victorious and removed these
Dang.
threats, and even
Beat the
split
gods.
Sui
Sick.
into living fragments of itself. Yan is another nation, along with Sami and Ursus, that has conflicts with the Eldritch threat.
Oh,
Aegir is
great.
the only known nation that is under the ocean. Not much
Oh.
is known about it.
Cool.
But it is inhabited by the Aegir race. So supposedly their technology is extremely advanced, but
Well, it would have
they
to
are
be.
facing a threat known as the Seaborn, and potentially
The
the
Sea
Church of
Boy?
the Deep, a
That's awesome.
threatening cult that somewhat worships the Seaborn.
Oh, Seaborn.
There is one more
okay,
nation.
I heard Sea Boy. I was like, yes, Sea Boy. Get it. Seaborn. Okay.
To make you aware of, that is the dead nation of Ghoul. Potentially
Ooh.
a technologically advanced nation of its time,
Cool.
Ghoul are famous for their artilleries. Ghoul were also one of the nations that allied themselves with Calcit to invade and destroy Kazdel 200 years ago. Unlike the other nations, Ghoul later asked help from Kazdel to some extent.
Ah, is that George Washington? It looks like George Washington over here in the corner.
Even hiring some Castilian royal court casters to help them against the Funyun arts.
The
Ghoul
Funyun
was later
arts?
destroyed in the Battle of the Four Emperors by its former allies and was completely wiped out. There are still some small lingering citizens of Ghoul around Terra, but ultimately the nation is completely gone. There are 3 unknown but dangerous locations of Terra.
All right, honestly, I honestly will never remember most of these. But I will, like, at least not on my own, but I think he's explained things well enough that, like, if I happen to come across some of these words or what, like, later, I'll be able to kind of connect the dots and remember, which is cool, because I will be watching some more Arknight stuff. I am very interested. This seems like a really cool world. It seems like it's been quite well thought out. And, you know, very much, you know, cherry-picked stuff from the real world. And that's always fun. So this is a cool little rabbit hole I found myself going down.
These are the Funyun Hotlands, the Ifni Ice Fields, and even further north beyond the Ifni Ice Fields lies an uncharted location, a potentially massive crater within the world of Terra. And that is where we come to the end of the video.
Cool.
I hope you enjoyed this video.
Part 2.
Found it helpful if you're a player or someone interested in the lore. If you wish to know more about a certain nation, race, or anything within the Arknights universe, don't hesitate to suggest it in the comments below. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome. Thank you for making the video. That was really cool. That was very informative. Like, and thank you for the suggestion, people both in the comments and on the Discord. I'm going to give him a little like. You should give me a little like too if you want me to make more of these, watch more of this and learn more about it. It will help. So the next one would be the races and threats. Looking forward to it. Let me know what else I should be taking a peek at. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.